After the humiliating beatdown, the Phoenix Suns suffered on their Game 7 home floor, the most embarrassing way to end their season, falling to a team who wasn't even viewed as much of a threat. Devin Booker and Chris Paul got a taste of their own medicine, experiencing the Luka Doncic special firsthand, being victims of the most humiliating playoff beatdown we've seen in a long time. I made my previous video on how Doncic absolutely destroyed Devin Booker, a defining playoff series moment which will be remembered many years down the line. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. I shared that video on the link above and in the description below. While Suns up 2-0, CP and Book smirking when Luka's name got mentioned in the press conference.
Important is it to make him work defensively as far as running him through a lot of actions, especially late in the game when he's clogged heavy minutes like that.
We just try to play.
Lost 2 straight as if Booker wasn't humbled enough when having a huge lead, doing a little extra on the court. Third quarter Game 5 when Phoenix blew the game wide open. The antics. Since then, Doncic obliterated the entire franchise, 68 points, 21 rebounds, 12 dimes, 6 steals, the final 2 games without playing the fourth, while Devin Booker just 30, 11, and 5, 2 games combined. Booker minus 62, Doncic a plus 55, doesn't get any more humiliating than that. Luka perfectly summed it up, saying everybody acts tough when they're up.
Everybody acting tough when they're up. Everybody acting tough.
Even over the last 10 years, there's been plenty of trash-talking instances where a player on a team having a series lead at one point chirped a little bit extra, resulting in an embarrassing beatdown, waking up the other team's players. Here are 9 other instances, and a few honorable mentions I'll include after, starting with Booker's teammate Chris Paul. 2021 finals, had a 2-0 lead, ended up losing 4 straight in the process. Pivotal Game 5, Bucks a strong third quarter led by as many as 14 in the fourth before Phoenix stormed back, cut the deficit to 1 under a minute left, a chance for a lead, only for the lockdown defense of Drew Holiday to outmuscle Booker, took it right out of his hands. Giannis slamming in the face of CP +1. Antetokounmpo missed the free throw, but Phoenix couldn't come up with the rebound. A tough loss. Giannis didn't miss his last 4 foul shots, went 4 of 11 in the game, shot 59% from the line for the series before Game 6. At the post-game, CP had this to say about the Greek Freak struggles from the line.
Everybody's out there anticipating to miss. You know, hell, even he is.
Uh-oh. Big, huge mistake from Paul, especially after up 2 games and now facing elimination. Paul should be the last person to make any negative comments about the other team's superstar. Back in Milwaukee, an all-important Game 6, Giannis saved his very best for last, attacked and took it right to the chest of 7-foot Ayton. DA and Paul ended up with 5 fouls. Giannis went an incredible 17 of 19 from the line, his highest percentage in the postseason with at least 8 attempts. After going 5 of 6 first half, went 7 of 7 third quarter, Giannis was 17 of 18 before missing his last one, which didn't matter at that point with 9 seconds left. His team already sealed the deal up 7. Suns got as close as 86-84, but Giannis, unlike Ben scared to shoot Simmons, drew back-to-back fouls, went 4 of 4 from the line, made it 90-84. The previous games of the 2021 postseason, Giannis shot just under 56%, but his confidence and ability to trust his weaknesses in the biggest stage proved why Giannis is a true champion and reaching all-time great status before our eyes. You bet Giannis laughed at what Chris Paul said, which added more motivation. If Antetokounmpo went 11 of 19 instead, which is 58%, his usual 2021 postseason percentage, Bucks would have only been up 1. Giannis proving there's nothing he cannot do.
You know, people told me I can't make free throws. I made my free throws tonight, and I'm a freaking champion.
2020, Marcus Morris couldn't keep his mouth shut after getting an N1 possession before when it was almost a given. His Clippers would go into the conference finals up 3-1, 56-40 against a weaker Nuggets team. 99% of people were already getting hyped for Clippers Lakers, but the wise words of Reggie Miller says,
You're Morris. You got to be careful here because you've got up 3-1. Yes.
He was for physical altercations on the court.
And look, I mean, him and Beverly, they're the enforcers on this team. They're the guys that do all the dirty work. But you also have to be smart, too. Being up 3-1 and a chance to move on to the conference finals in the starting lineup.
Joined with a 35-year-old vet more than 3 years away from his last All-Star appearance, told Millsap to get ready to go home. Millsap turned back the clock, proceeded to score 15 points after. An awakened giant constantly attacking the rim, didn't back down. The turning point of the series, 14 coming in the third quarter, giving his team energy for Jokic, Murray, and Porter to outscore the Clippers in the fourth. Morris, however, scored only 6 points and 2 baskets the whole second half. 4 days later, Morris and the Clippers, the ones going home, Game 6 and 7 blown double digits leads, ended up losing by double digits themselves. Morris went on to shoot 3 of 14 combined the next 2 games, a whooping 12 points, while Doc Rivers, king of 3-1 shivers, and Pandemic P got most of the blame, but they can simply blame Morris for his cockiness. Even after this embarrassing collapse, Morris says that team wasn't better than us. Then, more than a year after, said, "We only lost because we were in the bubble." Excuses, excuses, and more excuses. He trash talked, couldn't back it up, and got destroyed. That's the story of the 2020 Clippers. The year before, Kyrie Irving's last stints with the Boston Celtics. Thankfully, the franchise don't miss him a single bit, but after a stellar Game 1 road win in the semis versus Giannis' Bucks, a 26 point, 11 assists, 12 of 21 shooting. When asked about taking 21 shots, Irving indicates he don't care about shots that much.
I really don't worry about shots. I can get my shot anytime I want. I think everybody in the building knows that.
Irving later became an absolute travesty the rest of the way. Game 2, 9 points, a pathetic 4 of 18 shooting, looked disengaged after many controversial calls. Game 3, and having the infamous 8 of 22 game, this was his response.
It's really just about being efficient, especially the rest of the series. From this point on, I don't think you'll see another 8 for 22.
Not only did Irving not go 8 of 22, he one-upped himself, going a whooping 7 of 22 Game 4. Even more embarrassing, 1 of 7 from 3, Giannis dropped 39, a 12-point loss. Irving somehow managed to play even worse the elimination Game 5, going 6 of 21, an absolute double travesty. An ugly breaking way to finish his time with Boston, getting smacked by 25 after leading the series. Irving making us think he'll be better, but averaged 19 points on just 21 shots, 30% from the field his last 4 games, ended up on the negative side of Celtics history. Little did we know, Boston made the conference finals 2 of the following 3 seasons after Irving, while Kyrie hasn't even gotten past the second round since. 2019, Jared Dudley and the Nets stole Game 1 on the road versus Philly, series tied heading to Brooklyn. The forward gave his assessment of Ben Simmons, who struggled after scoring 9 points in Game 1.
My feelings is, if I said he was averaging the half court, when you want to put him in because he's elite, all-star level in the full court. Right. It's not being disrespectful. Now, he might have took it because they heard the word average. Yeah. So once he gets going and he had such a good game, a lot of those good games, I'm not on him.
Simmons, at the time just 22 years old, wasn't bashed heavily yet, considered a borderline superstar. Although limited, the only time Ben Simmons took it personally on the court, responded strongly. After somebody bashed his game, Simmons went on to have the game of his life, netting a postseason career best 31 points, 9 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks, 11 of 13 shooting, 9 of 11 from the line, looking like a clear-cut superstar out there. And Dudley, 16 minutes, no points, a 16-point Sixer blowout. Brooklyn wouldn't win another game versus Philly. Dudley, some taunting moments. Game 4, scored 8 points after hitting a 3 up 10. Of all the players, Dudley acting the toughest on Brooklyn. Simmons 9-5-5 in the second half. Ever since this series, Simmons' playoff confidence has been a non-factor. Another role player might have to poke fun of Simmons to get his power back. 2018 Russell Westbrook owned by Ricky Rubio. Having Paul George and Carmelo Anthony should be enough to get you out the first round, right? Anything short of a semifinals appearance would be a total failure. Prime Russ against a team led by rookie Donovan Mitchell and Utah. Game 1, George and Russ combined 65 points, too much for the Jazz, but after falling the next 2 games, Utah starting point guard Rubio, a playoff career performance with 26, 11, and 10. Westbrook a disaster, 14 points, minus 25, 5 of 17 shooting. When asked about Rubio
got hot, especially I think from mid-range. I think he started 5 for 5. Just what allowed him to get so hot there?
He made some shots. I'm gonna shut that off next game though. Guarantee that.
Westbrook talked tough, making a broken promise, leading to his out-of-control emotions. Making bold-headed plays, picked up foul number 3, the 7:25 mark of the second quarter. And if you thought it couldn't get worse, the out of control Westbrook picked up foul number 4, still in the second quarter. For an average point guard like Rubio to get into Russ's head, the Thunder team shot 0 of 7 from 3, led by Westbrook's passes after the first period. Destroyed by 17, focusing on one guy who's not a scorer, Rubio only scored 13, but who Russ should have tried to shut down was Donovan Mitchell, who had a game-high 33. Afterwards, Russ still didn't acknowledge about how emotionally invested he was on Ricky.
You picked up 2 fouls pretty early in terms of the aggressiveness you were using on him, and
well, it's not about me or him. Let's get past that. We done with that.
Didn't want to face the facts. OKC ended up losing the series in 6, and worse off, Westbrook got taunted by a former losing presidential candidate. Double travesties for Russ. The following year, even worse, when Dame Lillard cooked Russ down 0-2, Russ got the and 1 over Lillard, rocked the baby, proceeded to go 5 of 21, 14 points in game 4, missed 20 shots in game 5, Lillard a walk-off game winner, ending the Russell Westbrook Paul George OKC era for good. 2016, Klay Thompson versus the Cavs, up 3-1, what he said about the Draymond LeBron situation on James's feelings.
I mean, guys talk trash in this league all the time. You know, I'm just kind of shocked some guys take it so personal. It's like, I mean, you know, it's a man's league, and I don't know how the man feels, but obviously people have feelings, and people's feelings get hurt even if they're called a bad word. I guess his feelings just got hurt. I mean, we've all been called plenty of bad words on the basketball court before, you know. Some guys just react to it differently.
And of course, LeBron pulled off the single greatest finals comeback, last 3 games, played as near perfect as any player we've seen.
What did you say Klay said?
Klay said, I guess he just got his feelings hurt.
Oh my goodness.
I believe the transcript will support that.
I'm not going to comment on what Klay said because I know where it can go from this sit-in. It's so hard to take the high road.
All he had to do was crack up. Thompson, on the other hand, to his credit, balled out game 5 with 37, had 25 in game 6, wasn't enough, laid an egg in game 7, going 2 of 10 from 3, 6 of 17 for 14 points. When good players talk smack to the all-time great ones, the results are almost improbable and unthinkable. Even after game 2's win up 2-0, when asked about whether the 73-win Warriors can beat the Showtime Lakers, Draymond says it's unfair to compare. Klay without hesitation says yes?
To say we're better than the Showtime Lakers, how can you say that? We can never play them.
We were better than the Showtime
Lakers. Getting way too ahead of himself, and job wasn't even finished. 2016 purple shirt guy might have cost his Hornets the series, standing up courtside the whole time, the headband with the bright backpack, trash talking the players, chasing clout, heat down 3-2 on the road, needing a win, way past his prime, vintage performance, scored 8 straight, a nasty fade away, rejected Kemba Walker at the end. Turns out, purple shirt man dared to tell Wade he should retire after the series. Just another career moment from an all-time great 2 guard. 6 years later, purple shirt's favorite team still couldn't get past the play-ins. 2015 Game 5's Wizards-Hawks tied game, Washington down 2, Beal kicked it out to Paul Pierce, drained the clutch bomb, giving his team an 81-80 lead, reminiscent of Game 3 when Pierce sank the game winner post-game with Chris Broussard, the legendary iconic phrase.
Did you call bank? I call game.
Less than 2 hours after, the phrase took off, t-shirts were already being sold, but Pierce's Wizards unfortunately never won another game in the series. Going back to Game 5, after the shot, shouted to the Hawks bench, "Series!" deciding to drop his next hot line. The next play, after a shooter miss, Al Horford followed up for the game-winning basket, gave Atlanta a 3-2 lead. The clock was the one that came back to bite Pierce. A three-pointer to tie at the buzzer game 6, only to still be in his hands with a tenth of a second too late, would have sent it to overtime. But that's how the series ended. It's an absolute travesty. When Pierce set series in the second round, the Wizards franchise still hasn't made it past the second round since 1979. 2014, Lance Stevenson Conference Finals versus LeBron's Heat. After Game 1's win and a 25-point Game 2, Pacers led most of Game 3 first half. While Lance just scored 10 points on 3 of 9, LeBron a casual 26. When James responded to Stevenson's on-court trash talk first half, Stevenson had this to say.
Lance seems to think that he's getting somewhere. Here he was yesterday.
To me, I think it's a sign of weakness, because he never used to say nothing to me. I always used to be the one that say, "Oh, I'm gonna get under you. I'm gonna do something to get you mad." Now he's trying to do it to me. So I feel like it's a weakness. I feel like I'm doing something right, and I'm getting under his skin.
A sign of weakness. The delusional Stevenson thinking he's actually doing something right. All he did was blow a 15-point lead.
Man, shut the hell up, man.
Not a good idea to start.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Coach Vogel, tell me shut the hell up, man. Y'all are down 2-1.
Charles Barkley also said this after Game 3.
You ain't really getting under LeBron's skin, bro. I mean, I hate to break it to you. He's just beating y'all down right now. Y'all down 2-1. If y'all don't win tomorrow, the series is going to be over. The only way to trash talk guys is to play a terrific game. You're a very talented player. You're a little crazy at times, but leave LeBron alone, man.
Game 4, LeBron absolutely went to work, dropped the game high, 32 points, 13 of 21 shooting, while the below average Stevenson scored 9 points of -14. While Game 5, LeBron did have one of his worst all-time games, but Stevenson continued on with the antics. The infamous ear blow even aggravated the king of trash talk, Pacers president Larry Bird, telling Lance to cut it out, knowing it won't work on LeBron and only backfire, making more headlines for his non-basketball performances and more attention of his antics. It took away a lot of his teammates' success. Miami went on to win the series in 6. Even in 2017 and 2018, James and the Cavs destroyed Stevenson's Pacers. LeBron's overall numbers of 29.4 points, over 8 rebounds, 6.6 assists in 26 playoff matchups were Stevenson, proved how one-sided this so-called rivalry even was. Safe to say, Lance Stevenson's weakness is LeBron James, comparing their numbers and impact side by side. Honorable mentions includes the 76ers confetti team. After draining a shot to tie, everybody thought it was a 3 to win. In fact, it was a 2. Sixers ended up losing in overtime, celebrating way too early against Boston. 2014, Chandler Parsons claiming he's the best forward in the series against Nicholas Batum's Blazers. Parsons did play solid, angered the Blazers team, leading to Parsons unsuccessfully guarding Lillard, draining the game-winning bomb in his grill. The walk-off winner to end the series, at least Parsons being the victim, didn't end up winning the ESPYs. Montrezl Harrell, the first to trash talk Luka in the playoffs 2020 Game 3 bubble, made a reference, had to bring up his skin color. It was during the height of racial tensions felt in our country. Many were shocked Adam Silver didn't suspend Harrell for his remarks. If it was the other way around, you would never hear the end of that. Doncic went on to have the game of his life to that point, a 43 point, 16 rebound, 13 assist Game 4 plus the game-winning shot. That same game, Harrell just 2 points, -19. Harrell trash-talking Doncic should have been an early reminder to Phoenix. Of course, Giannis mean-mugging Al Horford, only for the 35-year-old to outscore him 16-6 the rest of Game 4, tied the series, having a monster and one in his face. Horford with his best postseason game. Which one of these regrettable NBA trash talk playoff moments ended up in the worst way in your opinion? Which ones did you enjoy most and got the most joy from? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love all of you. See you next time.